Okay.
Guys, these elections have had some issues, and I bring you more issues from Olariwaju Street in Amuodofin. Interestingly, it's about the deep end of Amuodofin, because if you cross over to the other side of the road, you will see the army barracks right there in Ojo local government. Let me tell you the story of what happened in this place. Olariwaju Street, that's what it is. Polling 13, 14 and 15. Polling 13, the residents here told me that as early as 8 a.m. they came out to vote. They were enthusiastic about it, waited for INEC officials. INEC officials got here at about 11 a.m. and then they were ready for the exercise, only for INEC officials to tell them that they had no stamps. The people are not smiling, they didn't like it. However, 3 persons voted without stamps. At polling unit 14, they were also ready. Card reader issues, they couldn't vote. Polling 15, the same story. And the people here, they have described this act as a deliberate attempt by INEC to frustrate their intentions to vote. That's what we are monitoring right here in Amuodofin, Austin, Okonapan, China's Television News. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll get back to Butukushaki on that one, but this part of the concerns raised in Lagos in some of the areas where it's a huge challenge. But I think, yes, there will be some information coming through from INEC, which hopefully we'll bring to you. But how easy or difficult you think that these issues will be at the end of the day?
Well, the difficulties, again, would be caused by the system. What are the provisions for redress? We've heard that some people have been killed. I mean, you can't get lives back, can you? How are the various agencies working together to ensure that citizens are safe and able to carry out their civic duties without being threatened or frightened? We've seen the politicians. In every single one of those reports, they had huge crowds around them. Surely that in itself is an infringement of the rules of engagement, because voters are only supposed to go out there to vote at their polling units. How are they being surrounded by all these people? Are all these people part of the voters registered for that ward? Dr. Shiru talked about this VIP syndrome, and I totally agree with him. Citizens come first. These people are public servants. They're supposed to serve us. They should come and vote individually and allow their supporters go vote wherever they're supposed to vote. So
did you see this kind of scenario when you observe in other countries?
I didn't see that in South Africa. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I went to Nkandla, where, what's his name, Zuma went to vote. I met Buthelezi. I met all the players of, from the various political parties. It wasn't in any way like, in fact, where the police chief, who I also had a meeting with as head of observer mission, they had to give us the flashpoints so that we could decide whether we wanted to take our people in there or not. The areas he said were flashpoints in KZN, I decided I wouldn't send my observers there because I didn't want to risk anyone's lives. But I went there myself in the car that was provided for me. I didn't have any additional security. Even in those areas, there was none of this sort of conduct. So our political players need to be more responsible and more caring about citizens and their welfare.
Okay. Hitherto, in previous elections before, in this same Fourth Republic, we had a scenario where the executives or any of these officials would vote and conduct himself or herself around the environment to, as they say, observe or monitor. But then over time, observers like you, yourself, spoke with INEC and said, this is not right, and that kind of stopped.
Unacceptable.
Maybe over time we'll
this should also stop. It really should. It's uncivilized, it's unacceptable. They need to stop it. They need to put the citizens first.
What kind of effect, Mr. Ashiru, do you see this kind of conduct having on the electorate?
It's negative. Negative because, you see, there's what is called democratic ethos. democracy is not only about election. It's not only about coming to queue to vote. It's also about the democratization of the entire process, which also includes democratic discipline. Our political elites are very indisciplined. And that's why you see a lot of people milling around them, ostensibly supporting them. It's because they have some cash to throw around. It's not really because they have ingrained themselves in the hearts of the people. So if we have chosen democracy, we must learn to be democratic in its procedures, in its ethos, and in its discipline. To have an individual who comes to a polling unit with a retinue of security guards, look at the guy that was reportedly shot in Rivers State. Over what? Put your finger to a paper and go back home? So certainly there's a lot to rethink about the democratization process in Nigeria.
Okay, let's look at if this will be the same case, as it were, where some of the governors and officials, government officials, had so much crowds coming with them to the polling units. But let's take a look at this one. Governor Shettima of Borno State, just moments ago, also. That's it. Not too different.
Not too
Still
different.
people all around him, but he's going through the process, and that's where he actually cast his ballot inside the.
Folded the other way around.
Folded the other way around.
Well, it's folded.
But I can see who it's not printing for. Can't I?
Okay.
Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing?
No. From the distance, I cannot see it. I can only make out the printable. Maybe it's my eyes. Maybe
No, but I
it's my
saw
eyes.
it. I did.
Do you see the logo or just a number? You know, you don't even know which
I
candidate
did.
it is.
Which candidate?
You don't even know which
Well, by
which
law, I
office.
can't name
Is
names,
it
but I know what I
senatorial?
saw.
Okay, that's Borno State. Hopefully we'll get to hear from the governor himself. But in the meantime, we'll also have Donald Duke.
This is how it should be.
This is how it should be.
Okay.
This is how it
You know,
should be.
maintaining the distance.
Yes.
From the cubicle. That's what I mean in terms of when you're that cubicle, you need to maintain that distance, you know, when that happens. So at the end of the day, when you voted, that's what they...
Yes.
And that's the kind of image we'd like to see. If you voted, send us a picture.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
We've had a couple come through, but we would like to have more from just about everybody. But Donald Duke, the former Cross River State governor, who was also at some point...
We don't know which person I do it.
Okay.
I know. I know that feeling.
I would like to call on the people of Borno, in spite of the early morning scare, to come out and exercise their right to pick the candidates of their choice. Even if you are not going to vote for me, please come out and vote, because we have to send a message loud and clear to the insurgents that they cannot stop us from performing our civic duties. They cannot prevent us from leading our normal lives. Let them come out and vote. And so far, the turnout is fabulous. I've seen a mass of humanity, and all the police stations I have visited or I've seen when I was coming to my neighborhood.
But clearly very happy. That was the governor of Borno State. But this is the flip side. Donald Duke is also going through the process in Cross River State. That's where he's voting. And
So he's got the 3 ballot papers.
he's got the papers too. And he's always been a gentleman with the hands behind him. But you know Donald Duke in that manner. But that's the point at which he cast his vote.
And the distance is also, you know, fair.
And in this instance, we don't see the crowd.
Yeah, but you see what we noticed all through today when they're dropping their ballots, where INEC says hopefully they will do something about that. When you print, at the point of dropping it in any of those ballot boxes, you know, there are 3 of those ballot papers. You don't know which is which. You have to open and be sure.
Giving the people of Nigeria a choice, right? It's not limited. It's not limited. is not limited to either A or B. Democracy is about choice, freely given. And so, at the end of the exercise, for president, for instance, only one person will come out victorious. Only one person. Regardless of how many postulations and all that you may do, only one person. But what we want to be assured is that that person represents the majority of the will of Nigerians. And once that happens, you have to bow to that will and support the person. Because if your intention is to better the country, and one person emerges, rally around that person so that we can achieve our common objective. It doesn't have to, it's like a football team. If you say I'm not the captain of the team, then I'm not playing. That's wrong, right? If I'm not the captain of the team, can I support the captain and the others so that the team can be a winning team? That's what this is all about.